Now, last Friday, London's failed Mayor Sadiq Khan made a disgraceful attack on one of our best-loved entertainers while responding to a claim that he had put aside £10,000 for a celebrity endorsement at a launch event dedicated to the cost of living crisis. Watch.
Just to confirm, Ms Mayor, that's your mayoral decision that you signed off that said there was £10,000 for a celebrity endorsement at an event. You signed that off. You might not have got someone that wanted to endorse your policies, and I'm not sure how you justify £10,000, but it did exist and you did sign it off.
I mean, listen, we know that the only celebrities wishing to endorse the Tories are Jim Davidson and people of that ilk. We don't think it's a good use of money to have celebrities endorsing the debt-free advice bus.
Well, joining me for his first interview since that unprovoked attack, the man himself, Jim Davidson. And I mean, Jim, that was a loaded attack from Sadiq Khan. You and your ilk. What's he talking about, Jim? What does he mean?
I've never thought of myself as an ilk, more of a caribou, really. I don't know what he meant. I think he was sort of saying, though we don't like Jim Davidson, and he's the one that votes Tory, so they're all bad, him and people like him.
But who? What white men?
Old people, foot fetish, sort of stockings and anything. What is an ilk? What does he mean by me? People that vote Conservative. So we're the bad guys. If you don't agree with the little funny Mayor Khan, you are, by default, the bad guy.
But quite a lot of critics have actually said that comment from him was racist, because if you were to have said that... about him, Sadiq Khan and his ilk...
Well, it doesn't really bother me. I don't mind people being racist about me. It doesn't bother me. But the ilk thing, for someone that comes from, I don't know, what is it, Pakistani background or whatever, a ethnic minority, as it was called, shouldn't generalise. I get accused of generalising, about things. And comedians generalise about people, especially the old ones. So he should know better than to say an ilk. What is my ilk? I think all the ilks should get together and say to him, look, stop being so silly. Get on with it. He looks very angry, doesn't he? For a little bloke.
Well, he's an angry man.
Fog-on, leg-on, doesn't he?
He's an angry man, and he's destroying what I think was the greatest city in the world.
Yeah.
But I think what is inexcusable to me, Jim, is the way that he wants to sow division. Because, look, yes, on the whole, London is a Labour city, but... At the last mayoral election, Sean Bailey, who's one of our superstar panellists, came damn close to knocking Khan off his perch. So to sort of dismiss all Tory voters as bad people, which I think he was doing there, I think is incredibly intolerant from a man who claims, that he's this big, kind mob.
It sort of tells you what he really is. What he's really thinking. I think he's let himself go. And for someone that rules one of the greatest cities in the world, he should know better than to say that, especially about me. I'm quite hurt.
Poor Tim. I'll protect you.
Dan, you're wasting away.
Shut up.
No, you've got to eat steak and chips 3 times after meals now.
No, I'm not allowed carbs.
Here's you, look. You can't see Dan now. Look behind this.
As if, no, I'm doing this new 16-8 thing where you're not meant to eat for 16 hours a day. But anyway, I struggle with that because I want to eat for 24 hours
a day. Just eat as much as you want, but don't swallow anything. That's it. Don't swallow, Dan. It's bad for you.
Now, Jim, back to Mr. Khan.
Yes.
Is it true that no celebrities support the Conservative Party? Is that your experience?
To be honest with you now, I've always said to my Conservative mates, I will go along and do a show to raise money for these young MPs and whatever. But I won't go stand on the soapbox and say blah, blah. I think celebrity endorsement, and this is where he might be right, celebrity endorsement is a double-edged weapon, So the Conservatives don't have me as a celebrity to do stuff. I support them. I happen to be a celebrity or an ex-celebrity, whichever way you want to have a look at it.
Oh, you're a celebrity, Jim. Come on. Don't be so modest, please.
I just wanted to hear you say it, Dan. No, but, Eddie Izzard is a celebrity supporter. I'm not really.
But isn't the issue, though, that because of these sorts of attacks from left-wing politicians, actually, lots of celebrities now are scared stiff?
You can't say I'm a Conservative because you get beaten up. you know, you'll get bullied. Like, especially with these Khan and these militant lefties, you know, will say, he disagrees with us. He's the bad guy. It's wrong. It's wrong. And so if he's saying Jim Davidson and his ilk, does he mean the ilk that voted the Conservative Party in? You know?
Or the 52% of people who voted for Brexit, who he sees
exactly.
to
Well, I am in that ilk. So he needs to get himself a bit of an ilk. He needs to ilk up the mayor. Mayor, ilk up.
But isn't everything that Khan does now to try and distract from what's really going on in London, Jim? Because if you look at what's happening in London, it's all down to him. It's become a crime-ridden city.
Yeah.
It's become a city that is impossible
Who's
to
looking
travel
after the
around.
Who's looking after the police? Is he basically the police commissioner of the Metropolitan Police? Look what is going on. Right, we had an asylum seeker, an immigrant into this country, an asylum, 21 years of age, murdered someone, found out that he'd murdered 2 other people in Europe. And what do the police do? They arrest Rishi for not having his seatbelt on.
What did you make of that?
Crazy.
Issuing this fixed
he
penalty
should be
notice.
sacked. He wasn't wearing his seat. It's a bad example. Get a life, everybody. It's like the guy that is not done his tax form right.
Nadeem Zahawi.
Oh, they fall into the Labour Party. OK, so Keir says, do we have any policies? No. Do we have any policies that are better than the Conservatives? No. But good news, one of their guys hasn't paid their tax.
Yeah. And actually...
And the PM never wore his seatbelt.
Well, actually, I'm glad you've raised the Zahawi story, because I made a decision earlier today not to cover the story. I know it's on the front of every newspaper.
Yeah.
I know it's at the top of every news bulletin. But what's actually happening, Jim, is there is now this deranged media witch hunt, and they just move. Have you noticed? From one politician to the next. So it started with Boris, it moved on to Truss, then they went to Suella Braverman, then they went to Dominic Raab, then they went to Gavin Williamson. Now it's Zahawi's time. He has done nothing illegal.
No.
And by the way, I would also point out that this assumption in the media that HMRC get everything right is completely wrong, because very often, I'm not going to mention any names, but they come after good, honourable celebrities who have always paid their taxes. So all I'm saying is, right now, Zahawi, not referring to you, Jim, I'm sure you have, but right now, there is no evidence that Zahawi has done anything wrong. But
nothing wrong.
And
he's paid, so according to the paper, £1 million. You know, if you don't pay your tax... Really?
That's
he's doing really well.
Yeah. I mean, he is rich.
Is he?
And the Labour Party obviously hates anyone who's rich and successful and self-made.
So,
critically, he's self-made. I mean, this is a guy who came into our country and has done incredibly. I think he is a great success story. And if this was America, he would be celebrated for that. But here, they want to tear him down.
I know, everyone wants to shoot everybody down now. When they're going to shoot down the mayor for what he has said, not just about me, it could have been anyone, someone of his ilk, the ilk that votes Conservative, so must be. And to sort of shun it off. Oh, Jim Davidson and his ilk.
Well, I've got an idea. Why don't you challenge Sadiq Khan to a head-to-head debate and actually put this to the test?
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. He'd turn me to bits. I come from Charlton. I ain't very bright.
Jim, back yourself.
What?
You're currently selling out. Huge
I know, but I just go on and tell dirty jokes. But I couldn't stop myself. Do you know what they say? The House of Commons, they sit 2 sword lengths apart. I'd have to get a bigger sword, mate. I've often thought sometimes, you know, the other night in Southend, I had, 1,800 people stood up, absolutely cheering the place down. I thought, I could be their MP. And it'd be nice to get the votes to say, Jim, we want you to do it, but then you've got to get up in the morning and wash and everything and go to work and go to the House of Commons.
Actually hang around those horrible people in Westminster. I know.
All them SNP funny people, you know, all declaring who they can be.
You
girl,
definitely
boy,
have the best
something.
job.
Oh, no, I couldn't have it. We're better off in show business, Dan.
Have you read...
Do you want to come out with something to eat? You look a bit thin.
Oh, shut up, as if. God, I need to starve myself for about 3 weeks. Have you read Prince Harry's book?
No, I wouldn't read it. Because I like Prince Harry. I've known Prince Harry. But I don't want to sit there and put myself in a position to read something about someone I love, and that is the King. I won't do it.
Because he's been very horrible about his father and his brother.
Well, I don't like that.
But you're torn. Your loyalties are torn because you love Prince Charles, but you also have loyalties to Harry too.
I look at it as none of my business. Kids fall out with fathers. Fathers fall out with daughters. Things. It's a family thing. But to be honest with you, I think Harry, Mr. Little Head, is ruling Mr. Big Head, and he's on a roller coaster that he can't get off. And the King will stop that roller coaster and let him back in, because that's the type of man he is. He's a great man. I'll tell you a little story about the King.
He will do that. I disagree with
when
that.
Jethro died, when Jethro died, the comedian, the Prince phoned me up. He was the Prince and said, "Do you have an address that I can send some flowers that won't distract from his funeral?" That's the type of man he is. He's a great man, a great king, and I think, he must be going through hell, Dan.
Yeah.
But he'll do it because he's the king. He'll sort his family out. God bless him.
Fascinating. Jim Davidson, so great to see you again. Stand-up legend, of course. And these days, by the way, he's blowing up the internet too, taking a wry look at the week's headlines on his Ustream platform, sticking two fingers up to cancel culture and promising you the chance to laugh like you used to.
Sticking two fingers up. What's a finger?
God, I thought I'd got away with that.
He needs food.
Go, get him off screen now. Coming up.